Hello and welcome back to the Leinster Listen. I'm your host Mick Lennan and this is episode 19, the preview of Leinster vs Connacht in the return of the URC. The topics we'll discuss today are the URC game predictions, the details of our game, the team lineups, score and man of the match prediction, and then a discussion point on Ireland's Six Nations squad announcement. Alright, so just getting straight into the URC games this weekend. We're back at it. We were a little break there with the European Champions Cup and a very successful one for us. So great to be the other side of that. And we do host Edinburgh in the round of 16. But getting into the URC games, we'll start off with Edinburgh versus Bulls. And with that one, I do think the Bulls will actually just about get that. I'd say it's a very close one. Edinburgh aren't really performing there. And the Bulls, they do have to travel, but I think they might get it. Moving on there, we have Munster versus Dragons. You wouldn't know. I will say Munster, though. They are at home and they should beat them. Next up, we have Ospreys versus Lions. I'd go with the Lions there. We have Scarlets versus Ulster. The Ulstermen definitely should come out on top there. We have Connacht versus Leinster, and I think you know the answer to that one. Obviously, Leinster. We have Stormers versus Sharks. Stormers being at home, they have a huge advantage there, and they are also in flying form, having not lost a game in the URC so far. So I would go with Stormers there. We have Cardiff versus Benetton. I would like to see Cardiff winning that, I would like to see Benetton winning that, considering where Cardiff are on the board. But I do think Cardiff will win that. And then last but not least, we have Zebre versus Glasgow. And we know that Glasgow are on top form there. So I do think Glasgow will win that. The details of our game, kickoff is at 5:30 Saturday the 24th. Weather is looking very wet, very windy and very cold. So bring the umbrellas, the hip flasks, the scarves, the gloves, everything you have, the wet gear. And it's looking about 6 degrees Celsius there. But look, it'll be a great game. It's in the Dexcom Stadium and they're opening. It's a grand reopening of that new stand that they have. So it'll be a great game. Referee there is Owen Cross. If you've seen him, no complaints. He's a very solid referee. I do quite like him. I think he's very fair. Where you can watch it, obviously either just in the Dexcom Stadium, which is currently sold out, or on Premier Sports. There is no domestic channels, and I'm very annoyed by that. I do not understand why TG Cahir or RTE cannot get the rights for these games, especially the domestic ones. The interprovincial games definitely should be aired on RTE or TG Cahir. So anyway, it is what it is. Alright, so getting into the Leinster lineup. So straight off into it, the back line. We have 15 Kieran Frawley, 14 JJ Kenny, 13 Gary Ringrose, 12 Charlie Tector, 11 James Lowe, our number 10 Harry Byrne, and number 9 Fintan Gunn. Moving into the forwards there, we've number 1 Jack Boyle, 2 Gus McCarthy, 3 and making his debut Niall Smith, 4 RG Snyman, 5 James Ryan, 6 Alex Soroka, 7 Will Connors, and number 8 our captain Caelan Doris. Moving into replacements there, we've number 16 Ronan Kelleher, 17 Jerry Carr, 18 Andrew Sparrow, 19 Brian Deeney, 20 Diarmuid Mangan, 21 Scott Penny, 22 Luke McGrath, 23 Ruben Maloney. Moving over there onto the Connacht lineup, we have in the backs 15 Sam Gilbert, 14 Shane Jennings, 13 Harry West, 12 Cathal Ford, 11 Finn Tracy, 10 Josh Owane, 9 Caelan Blade. The forwards there, number 1 Billy Bohan, 2 Dylan Tierney Martin, 3 Sam Lowe, 4 Josh Murphy, 5 Dara Murray, 6 and their captain Cian Prendergast, 7 Paul Boyle, 8 Sean Jansen, and into the replacements 16 Owen de Boutelier, 17 Dennis Buckley, 18 Jack Onger, 19 Joe Joyce, 20 Sean O'Brien, 21 Ben Murphy, 22 Jack Carty, and last but definitely not least 23 Bundy Aki. Alright, so you probably would have noticed there the bench splits are both the same with a 6-2 split. Very interesting there, especially with Bundy Aki being on the bench for Connacht there. Who to watch? Look, I think we definitely have a much stronger team than I expected. I did not expect to see a team at that calibre coming out so close to the Six Nations. I thought the IRFU would definitely have taken some players out by now. But look, I'm glad to see it. We need the points. We want to go out there and we want to smash Connacht again. Going into Leinster there, it's Tector time once again. Charlie Tector, look, he had a great game the last time out against Connacht. He scored 2 tries himself. Pretty much a solid centre the whole game. And look, hopefully he's learned from the mistakes he did against Ulster, which we won't even talk about because he obviously showed up the last time out against Connacht in the Aviva. Obviously, you have to mention James Lowe here coming back. I think he's a bit under pressure now to perform against in the Six Nations. So, he has JJ Kenny there, he's Tommy O'Brien, Malacoon, Shane Daly, all these lads coming up his rear, and he needs to make sure that he performs very well. So look, he's looking to probably come out against Connacht and play what he used to play, his top form. So I do think he'll play well tomorrow, so hoping for that. Can't go without mentioning Niall Smith. Yeah, debut now tomorrow. Huge. That is a huge game to come in as a debut for a prop, especially. He's getting the nod ahead there of Sparrow and Carr, which is obviously massive. I hope he does well. I really do hope he has a solid game. Hope he has solid scrums, and we need solid props. So no harm getting him out, getting him ready to go. And look, the front pack against Connacht are quite strong there as well. So hoping he has a great game. Moving over there to Connacht, Sam Gilbert. Yeah, look, Sam had a massive game against Montalban there in the Challenge Cup. His kicking was just immense, so good. You really were looking at him as a potential for an international there if he could. But look, hopefully tomorrow he doesn't play as great a game. And but we have to watch out for him. Obviously, there, Keane Prendergast, he made a statement against his brother Darren De Viva last time out. He had 3 turnovers against Sam himself. So he's a fantastic player. Ultimately, in the second half, he definitely fell off there. But, home turf, new stadium, same captain. He's going to want to make a statement there. And then finally, Joe Joyce. What a sub to have to bring on there. He's, though, on the way out. He has been signed with Gloucester. But, with most players there, when they're after signing for a new club, they'll tend to up their game for their final few games in the club that they're currently in. Kind of like to, impress, now that the news is out, to kind of impress the team he's going into and the fans there. A very similar thing happened to Ross Byrne when he signed away from Leinster. He just suddenly started kicking every kick. So look, hopefully Joe Joyce has a great game. Sorry, no, hopefully he doesn't have a great game, because that would go against us. But look, all the best for him. And I think he's a fantastic player. Going into some previous games here, obviously we last played them in the Winter Pros here not too long ago. They had a very strong first half against us. Now it was a little bit touch and go for us. I don't really understand what had happened to us. I think we just thought we were going to be ahead the whole time, and then they got some early tries and really threw us off. But then we ended up trashing them 52-17 in the second half. We really I think there was the subs came on, different level, played very, very strong rugby. If you go through all of our last 5 games, we've beaten them in every single one of them. We actually haven't lost to them since 2020. So that's, you're talking 6 years of them trying to beat us, and we've just always come out on top. But look, we can't. Every week is a new game. Every game is a new game. You have to make sure you go out there, play your best, and I think putting that team forward we have, it's fantastic. If it was going to my prediction there, we do have we had a stronger team that we played against them in the Viva. This one probably isn't as strong, but I do think we've a lot of dynamic players there. We have a couple of debutants, obviously, but I think we'll if we can survive the first half, our subs should definitely clean up there. I think our bench is much stronger. The bookies have us at 10-11 on with a -7 handicap, so obviously that's good indication there as well. If I was to give a score, I would say 12-31 to Leinster. And then if I was given a man in a match prediction, I do think it's going to be one of our centres. So I'd imagine either Gary Ringrose or Charlie Tector is definitely going to get that fancy little teddy after and their little medal. Alright, so just going straight into this discussion point. Ireland's Six Nations squad announcement. If you've seen it, you'll know that we have fielded an awful lot of them. We actually have 19 out of the 37 players, not including the players we fobbed off to some other provinces, but we'll go into that a little bit later. Just as a heads up there, obviously there'll be no Leinster games during the Six Nations, but I will be covering all of the Ireland games in the same level of detail as these episodes. So we'll do a preview episode and a review episode of each of them. So going into the topic, obviously Andy Farrell had to navigate a very significant injury crisis going on in pretty much all the provinces there, but he has come out with a very strong 37 player team there. So straight off the bat, I think Doris captaining us through that is going to be fantastic. He's been a very good captain for Leinster so far. A lot of on-field decisions made, that one being to let Harry Byrne kick that final kick, which sealed the deal for us against La Rochelle. You can't forget that. Fantastic to see. Moving on to that, though, we do have a 3-10 problem, speaking of Harry Byrne. So the conversations have started of who is going to start as 10 against France. Obviously, that's a massive decision to be made. Andy Farrell's not going to be able to make that very easily. I think whoever does get picked, they're either not going to get played again for the remainder of games if their performance wasn't great, or they'll end up proving themselves vital. So I think it's a toss coin there. There's huge speculation. Honestly, if I was to pick one, I would put Harry Byrne there. I do think that Crowley and Sam just really had a couple of problems there in the last few games. They haven't been trusted. They've shown through all these inaccuracies, not kicking it out to touch when they have penalties. All these little things add up, and Andy Farrell has been sitting in the stands there, making sure he's taking this all in. So I've definitely pipped Harry Byrne to come in there and start against France, and I really do hope he gets his chance to shine. He definitely hasn't been given that chance in international levels. So look, all the best. Whoever it is get picked, it doesn't matter as long as we beat France. Going on to this, Hugo Keenan, Return of the King. Oh my God, it's great to see. I wish he would have been back for Leinster there. I think he would have been a fantastic player to have against some of the games we've had so far. And Leinster definitely have been lacking his skills in that back line. And jeez, please God, if you can light a candle, please do, that he makes it through this Six Nations and we have him for the Leinster team again. Look, it's great to see, fantastic team, a very long journey through injury there, but great to see Hugo Keenan back for that. Our scrum front pack is a discussion point as well. We've Porter missing. He wasn't even named on that 37, so that's a huge thing. He's obviously out for a good while now. But it does give us a chance to test out some of the other props. So you're looking there, Jack Boyle, Thomas Clarkson, Tyke Furlong, obviously he's going to be there the whole time. Michael Milne as well. I don't think he had a very good time against our front pack. He gave away a load of scrum penalties, but maybe with all those lads that he's been reunited with in green this time, might bring him forward. Obviously there are our hookers, Kelleher and Sheehan, they do their job day in, day out. They're very good. I've no qualms with that at all. I think our front pack is strong enough. Obviously, you'd want Porter there, a very tenured, well-capped player, but look, we have to deal with what we have, and he's out. Going on to the wings there, sad to not see JJ Kenny named, and I know he's been named in the Ireland 15, but I thought we definitely would be starting to bring forward these players, who were coming out of the academy, who were really shining, and he's top try scorer now for Leinster in the URC currently, and also in the European Champions Cup. So I thought we would have actually brought these up, considering we're only 2 years out from the Rugby World Cup. But look, in saying that, Balcoon there and Stockdale getting their chance, that's massive. It's so strange to see Stockdale back again, this time with an awful lot less hair, but maybe that makes him more aerodynamic there up the wing. Definitely a strong choice for him, but I hope he definitely doesn't miss a shot this time. He was a fantastic player. I think he just kind of got a raw deal the last time out. And obviously Balcoon, if you haven't seen him play, start watching a couple of other games other than Leinster games. The man is a rocket. He's just so fast, so it'd be great to see how we play down the wing game there. Lowe, obviously coming back there, he definitely needs to shine, and I already said it, that he's an awful lot of players coming up there that are very good, so it'll be interesting to see how he makes his time back in the international in the green shirts, and it's also interesting to see who makes that final 23 in all those wings. There's a lot of players there who need to take up that, and it'll surely be a 6-2 split, so you're talking, if you're not starting, you have a small chance really to be picked in that last 2 or 3 replacements bench. Alright, so I suppose we'll finish this off with a question for ye. So who is your top player in that 37 strong Irish team? Let me know on the YouTube or Instagram. We'll have a post up there, and I'll give you a shout out in the next episode if you do so. Alright folks, Wolfhounds are playing again. The women's are playing Glasgow Warriors women's in the Virgin Media Park in County Cork, the real capital of Ireland obviously. That's on Sunday 3pm, and you can watch that on TG Cahir or YouTube, so please do tune in and support the women there. Fantastic game coming up, and they have a chance to go 5 for 5 in the Celtic Challenge, so that'll be great for them. In any way, that's her folks. Thanks again for listening. If you haven't already, follow us on social media. We're on obviously YouTube, as you might be listening here. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky and Reddit. But look, hope if anyone who's making their way down to the Dexcom Stadium that you're not getting drenched and we actually have a great game and we come out on top. And as always, thanks for listening, folks.